My name is Mike from Bruce County Public Library. Welcome to today's Local Author Talk. In this series, we will chat with local authors and learn a little bit more about them and their work. Doug Archer remembers getting hooked on writing in grade 3 when his story about giant tarantulas entertained his classmates. Aside from this popular middle grade children's series, Cold Case Kids, Doug writes articles for area publications like Boomers Magazine. Hi, Doug.
Hi, glad to be here.
Glad to meet you. Today, Doug will chat with us about his Cold Case Kids mystery series.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll start off with just a little synopsis of each book. So, Cold Case Kids Mysteries are a series of mysterious and ghostly adventures that take place on the shores of Lake Huron, around Southampton and Chantry Island.
Very long.
That's right. Ideal ages are 8 to 13, but I would say 8 to 99 because you're never too old for an adventure. And there's 3 books in the series, and the first book is Ghoul's Gold. And Ghoul's Gold is the story of 3 islanders, Rogan, Bryson, or B, everybody just calls Bryson B for short, and Heather. And they're known as the Cold Case Kids. And they learn that there's treasure hidden on mysterious Chantry Island, riches left behind by pirates of Great Lakes. So they go searching for it. Of course, when they get to the island, they find a little more than they bargained for. For one thing, a zombie resides in the island. But he's key to the kids finding the treasure. There's also some ghosts that haunt the top of the ancient lighthouse. And instead of a treasure map, there's a river. And the kids have to solve the clues in the river in order to find the treasure. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There's also an evil fortune hunter who will stop at nothing to get the riches for himself. Competition. So, the treasure hunt is on. And on that note, I'll introduce you to the second book in the series, called Legend of the Phantom Reaper. And in Legend of the Phantom Reaper, the Cold Case Kids, along with Angus the Zombie, he's back. That's right. Decide they're going to dive down to explore shipwrecks around Chantry Island. And there are still some shipwrecks out of Chantry Island. So, when they put on their snorkel masks and dive down to the first shipwreck, they find themselves transported more than 100 years back in time through an underwater time portal. Back to the day the ship actually sank. And then all kinds of mysterious things begin to happen. Unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you about those mysterious things.
No spoilers.
That's right. I want people to read the book to find it. And once you finish reading Legend of the Phantom Reaper, I hope you'll pick up a copy of the latest book in the series called Dead Man's Tale. And in Dead Man's Tale, the Cold Case Kids and Angus the Zombie, back again, they discover an ancient wooden chest washed up on the shores of Chantry Island, and they make the mistake of opening it. What comes out plunges the kids into a mystery filled with walking skeletons, ghostly creatures, and a tale from beyond the grave. And just to keep you in the know, I'm working on a 4th book in the series. It is due out in September 2024 next year.
Right.
And the title of it is going to be Curse of the Island Creeper.
Chantry Island again?
Chantry Island, yes.
Can you see that from where you live?
Yes, I can, yeah.
That's actually, we spent a fair bit of time just looking at it.
It's inspirational because I live right down on the shore, which is nice. So looking out and seeing that every day is inspirational.
That's great. Yeah. I've got a few questions for you guys here. I also noticed the illustrations are all the same through these, and I think some of the interior illustrations as well.
Yes, that's right. So the illustrator, his name is Rob Elliott.
Okay.
He's an artist in Toronto. Has a studio in Toronto, and he's done all the cover work on all 3 books, and he's going to do the cover work on the 4th book as well. And all the inside pictures, about I'd say 14 to 15 black and white illustrations in each book.
Yeah.
Full page.
They're really striking and original. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're eye-catching. That's great.
Because we both grew up on Scooby-Doo and Hardy Boys.
It's definitely that kind of feel. You can see there's action within them just from the
cover.
The movement. Yeah.
And it jumps off.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Now I was wondering, what words would you use to describe yourself as an author?
Well, every story I write has an element of mystery and adventure to it. And I'd have to say that every story I write features some kind of ghost or ghoul as well. So I'd probably say that the best words to describe me as an author are eerie, spooky, supernatural, and mysterious, I'd say.
I think you picked some good notes too. These are definitely they're popular books. I know you've had a good run with them too, and a great thing to find as you go into retirement to take you onward.
Absolutely, because they've actually become Canadian bestsellers.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Where do you find the inspiration for these stories? Is it just seeing the lighthouse out from your, I'm assuming, living room window or whatever?
That's right, that certainly helps for sure. Because I tend to draw inspiration from people I know and things I know as well. Okay, so I start out with ordinary things that are familiar to me, and then I use my imagination to turn them into extraordinary things. But the first one, like Ghoul's Gold, is the Abspoken series. My eldest son actually gave me the idea for that.
Oh yeah.
When he was 11 years old, which is the same age as the Cold Case kid, we were down at the beach looking out at Chantry Island, and he asked me if there'd ever been any pirates in the Great Lakes.
That's a great question.
Yeah. And I've since learned that there were pirates in the Great Lakes. Not as famous as the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Not as hugely successful.
But there were pirates on the Great Lakes. And but I said, at the time I didn't know that. So I said, I don't know why he asked. And he said because he thought that Chantry Island and its lighthouse would have made a great pirate island.
Yeah.
So that idea stuck with me for maybe 10 years before I started to put pen to paper and outline the story of Ghoul's Gold, which is essentially a search for pirate treasure on Chantry Island.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and our region certainly has caves and caverns and
That's right.
hidden coves here and there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good area. For
You
sure.
can zoom in on the map quite easily and see it looking that way.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What's the most challenging thing you find about writing?
Probably the editing process, because every story I write, whether it's a short story, an article for a magazine, or a book, I go through a minimum of 4 edits, okay, 4 drafts. The first draft, what I call the down draft, is the rough draft, and that's probably the easiest part because it's the most creative. I always use an outline for the story, like a bit of a roadmap. So I just follow my outline and I dump the story out.
Just pure
Story,
storytelling.
yeah. Because I'll be writing stuff in that first draft which I know will not make it in the final. I know it, but I still write it. Because if I keep stopping myself and editing the first draft, I'll never get the story out. So I want to get the story out. That's why I call it the down draft. Just get it down. And that's a lot of fun. The hard work starts with the editing, like the second draft. And I think the second draft is the most difficult, for me anyway. Because that's when I step back and I look at the rough draft, the first draft, and read it over and say, all right, yes, it makes sense, it's a story. Is this the story I want to tell? Is there too much in the story I need to pull stuff out? Are there gaps in the story I need to fill in? Are the characters realistic? Do I need to pull characters out? In one of the books, I actually had to pull a character completely out because they weren't really adding to the story. So I had to just sort of detangle them from every chapter in the book and pull them out.
Pulling one colored stripe out of the sweater.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But it was worthwhile because it made the story better at the end. So that's the most difficult part of the second draft. But at the same time, it's the most rewarding because that's when, at least when I see the story that I had in my mind really come together.
Okay. When you get stuck in that process, what do you do to get out of it? Or do you get stuck? Is it
Sometimes, I mean,
there's certainly difficult
yeah,
aspects.
difficult aspects when you hear about writer's block, writer's block,
Yeah.
things like that. So there are times when you sort of just get thrown up against a wall. So that's where like I said, I use an outline.
Yeah.
That's where the outline comes in very handy for me. So I don't start any story, like book length or article length, without doing an outline first. Okay. For the books, I use what's called a storyboard, or actually for Ghoul's Gold, I had a storyboard which was like as large as just 40 feet across and about 4 feet high. I just put this sort of brown wrapping paper, put it up my basement wall, and then I'd use sticky notes, put up.
That saves a lot of arrows.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. And every couple of days, I'd move the sticky notes around and add new ones. And it took me 3 months to develop a plot for Ghoul's Gold. And then that's sort of the rising action, the climax, the falling off action, had the whole story shaped out. Not in infinite detail, but enough detail that I could use that as my roadmap. Okay? So I had that roadmap out. And that way, with that roadmap, if I run it, when I start writing, if I run into problems, let's say I'm recording the book and I'm could step back, look at that and say, I'm going to jump ahead. I'm going to start writing one of the climax chapters in the book. And I start writing that. Or I got to write the final chapter because I know what the story's going, right? So I'll write the final chapter instead. And that change kind of gets the creative juices flowing.
Sure.
Gets you out of that writer's
You can see a little better where you're going.
Right.
Maybe that'll give you some clues
So
to how you got there.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So, but you can't do that without an outline. So, I mean, any aspiring writers out there, I just say that you need an outline. You need some kind of roadmap to keep you so that in line with the story.
I was curious if you use this same process. You mentioned writing articles that you did, and technical writing or professional writing earlier.
That's right, yes.
When you were accounting.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Was it the same process in that, just in a smaller form? I imagine that the roll of craft paper was a little bit shorter.
That's right. And I'd say yes. I always have an outline. So the idea is to, I find if you just start writing, although some people do that, you just sit down and start writing. I always find if you do that, it's kind of like jumping in your car without having any idea where you're going to go. You just kind of drive around aimlessly. Without an outline, I would just be writing aimlessly. So I tend to map out what I want the article, the story, or the book to look like. And then that becomes my roadmap to follow. As I say, it's not infinite detail, but it's enough detail that I know what the story of the article is going. So even on technical articles, I lay that out. What are the key things I want to capture in this article?
So your key points.
That's one of the key points, What's my final message at the end? I want people to do those key points. You want them to walk away with. So you lay it all out, and then when you've got that, then it's much easier to write. Because you say, well, I know exactly where I'm going with this story, with this article.
Great.
So it's the same process.
You definitely have a very workmanlike approach to everything.
Because it's funny you should mention that because I write that way as well.
Yeah.
Once I've got the outline, I write 5 to 6 days a week, every day, for 2 to 3 hours a day. Okay, no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay? I tend to write in the morning.
It's hard to commit to that.
That's right. I tend to write in the morning, but I can write in the afternoon and the evening. But I get in the 2 to 3 hours each day for 5 to 6 days. Even when I'm on vacation, usually I use a computer to type the stories. But if I'm on vacation, I've been on planes before. I use longhand. I'll take a look magically and use longhand and sort of transcribe it later on when I get back. So just to keep that flow, because that way you've always got the story or the book in your head as well. Okay, so you keep it fresh.
That's right.
You take 3 weeks
You won't
off.
be forgetting.
That's right. You got to start over. Well, that's just how it helps.
Besides your childhood being a fan of Scooby-Doo, do you have another character or literary work or book that is an inspiration to you or has been in your life, not necessarily about this writing?
Probably Dracula.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have to say my favorite literary character is Dracula. I read the book for the first time when I was in grade 8. And I've been writing before that because you mentioned that story I wrote grade 3. Writing. But in grade 8, I read the story of Dracula by Bram Stoker. And I loved it right from the get-go. It was creepy, it was eerie, there was a lot of action in it. I had this great character that I loved. And since that day, I every 3 or 4 years, I reread Dracula. Every time I reread it, I find it just as thrilling as I found it the first time.
Yeah, there's something so gripping about eeriness that
That's right.
stays sort of in the back of your mind.
That's right.
It doesn't make you wonder, it just holds you.
That's right. It's just drawing you back in that. So
looking over your shoulder a bit.
that's right.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for sharing your time and your work with us.
All right.
If you're looking for an engaging work for kids from 8 to 99,
That's right.
please reach out to Doug through his Cold Case Kids website, Facebook, or email. And in the description for this video and the notes below, we'll add links to all of his contact information.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.